Hey everyone, it's Kim, the Homeschooling Grammy. Today I'm going to be sharing with you what we read in the month of March. So stick around, we're about to get started. Okay, so I guess I'll start with what I read. I know, right? I've been reading lately. So I actually finished one book, and that was Earth's Last Empire, The Final Game of Thrones by John Hagee. And this book was really good. Lots of information, but it was a really good read, and I'm glad that I read it. And now I'm going to pass it on to a friend of mine so that she can read it too. The next book that I finished reading this in the month of March was John Hagee's The End of the Age, The Countdown Has Begun. This book I liked even better. And now I'm passing it on to my husband because he wants to read it next. He had already read the other one. I actually took it from him and read that one. But now I'm going to pass this one on to him. Another really good read. I suggest this one. And the one I'm reading now, because he's my favorite evangelist of all times, is Billy Graham and Me. 101 Inspiring Personal Stories from Presidents, Pastors, Performers, and Other People Who Knew Him Well, with an afterword by Billy Graham. And I got this at Ollie's, as you can see. And I only paid like $3.99 for it. And so far I'm liking it. I'm only on page like 36. So just barely getting into it. So the next group of books are going to be books that we have been reading with Hope, or she has been reading, a little bit of both. And so I'm going to start with the ones that she or I finished reading. Either I finished reading them to her or she finished reading them. And the first one I have actually written down in my planner because it was a book that we used for our music portion of our homeschool. And I had somebody else read it for a change. And it was on YouTube, but the name of the book is called Vivaldi and the Invisible Orchestra by Stephen Costanza. And I'm going to just put a little picture up here so you can see what the book looks like. Okay, but it was great to have somebody else read. Yeah, it was fun. Okay, so the next book that we finished through our Sunlight homeschooling curriculum is The Year of Miss Agnes. And I loved this book. It made me cry. It was so good. Hope really enjoyed it too. Really good book, one of our read alouds. The next book that Poppy and Hope finished is Me and Jack by Danette Haworth. And they really enjoyed it. And I only listened to bits and pieces of it because I don't always listen to the read alouds that her and Poppy do in the evening. Let's be honest. Okay, let's see. The other read aloud that Hope and I did, and this was just for fun for us because we really enjoy the Heartland series. And so I picked up a bunch of the Heartland books through Thrift Books, and we finished Heartland, Healing Horses, Healing Hearts, Coming Home by Lauren Brooke. And we really enjoyed this. And it was really good conversation starter because of the differences between the book and the TV series. Really good. Okay, so the next book that we finished, we did for Black History Month, and we did Amazing Black Women in History, and we finished The VIP, Very Important People, Dr. Mae Jemison by Heather Alexander. This was another great read. This was super fun, very informative. It was an awesome addition to our history study for from February into March, because that's when we ended up finishing this in March. I bit off quite a few books to read in February, so not surprised that it ended up moving into March. So the next two books are books that Hope read with her Sunlight reading program. So she read these books herself. And the first one was called Timmy, Lemmy by Patricia C. Mckissack. And, you know, she said she liked it, but she didn't say she loved it. And then the next one that she just finished was A Question of Yams, a missionary story based on true events by Gloria Rep. And she said she really enjoyed this book a lot. She said this book was really, really good. Okay, so the next pile of books are books that we are in the process of finishing. Some of them we're getting close to, some we're not. The first book I'm going to share with you is actually a Louis Giglio book, The Wonder of Creation. And we are, I don't know, page 56. So we read this daily with Hope, or I should say, usually Bruce reads it with her in the evening and I'm there with them to listen and whatnot. We really love the Louis Giglio series of devotions. You know, they mixed creation with science. Amazing books. And let's see, the next book that we've been working on with our music study, because we had decided that we are going to be studying musicians all this year, and so we started Lives of the Musicians, Good Times, Bad Times, and What the Neighbors Thought by Kathleen Kroll and Catherine Hewitt. And this book is fun. We're enjoying this book. It's really good. And I was noticing on the back they have other books in the sensational series, as they call it, Lives of the Writers, Lives of the Artists, Lives of the Presidents, Lives of the Athletes, Lives of Extraordinary Women, which I would have known about that, and Lives of the Pirates. So we were probably going to be checking out some of these other books in the future for sure. Okay, next book. And this is a read aloud that Poppy and Hope have been doing in the evening. And I have read this book to her before, but she chose it as what she wanted Poppy to read because she really enjoyed it the first time, so she wanted to do it again. So, Dear America, The Diary of Clotie, a Slave Girl, A Picture of Freedom, Belmont Plantation, Virginia, 1859. And this is a really good book, I have to say. Very good. The Dear America series are really good. Okay, next is, of course, being the big Anne of Green Gables fan that I am, Hope and I are still working through the series of books that we have. And we didn't get it through this as much as I would have liked, but we had so many other read-alouds, and we also had a trip down to Maryland to see my new grandson who was born last month. So yeah, we didn't get as much into it as I would have liked. But Anne of Wendy Willows by L.M. Montgomery, and we are on page 162 in this book. So yeah, we're getting about halfway through. Of course, I love it. You know, it's Anne of Green Gables. Last but not least, a read aloud that we're working on with our Sunlight curriculum is The Cricket in Times Square by George Selden. This book is really fun. We're really enjoying this book. Super fun. Of course, it's about a cat, a mouse, and a cricket. And of course, because it's all about animals, Hope's all about it. Thank you all so much for stopping by. I hope that this video was a blessing to you, and I will talk to you soon. God bless and take care.